Tonight, local farmers protest new amendments made to the South Australian Mining Act, and a truck driver apologises to Port Augusta Council candidate Sunny Singh over a racist video.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Cropping land between the towns of Wallaroo and Port Broughton is now being zoned for mining exploration. Local farmers are fearing for their future and are organising to fight back against the mining industry.
It's where grain meets the sea. The land between Tickerra and Port Broughton has been farmed by local families for generations. And those farmers are now concerned that it's being threatened by new mining zones.
We feel as farmers that we've been overlooked and we want more consultation and we want the bill delayed because at the moment it's before Parliament. And unless there's amendments made, I think all hell will break loose.
The problem lies beneath the surface. Deep underground is a deposit of iron ore estimated to be worth tens of millions. It's called the Olympic Copper Belt, and unfortunately for local residents, they're positioned right on the buckle. Farmers are concerned with the new amendments to the South Australian Mining Act of 1971, including a loophole where cropping land is no longer exempt from mining. For John Kennett, it's not just a farm, it's a home.
Been here for 4 generations, and in that time my grandfather cleared the land virtually by hand, and then bit by bit through the generations we've built our farm up.
Mining Minister Dan Van Holst Pelican has stressed that the status quo will remain and that none of the new changes will make farmers worse off. The member for Stewart is all too familiar with working in the interest of both groups. His electoral district shares a large mining workforce and farming population.
They think that those improvements are not enough and not as much as they want. And so I accept that. Things have not got worse for them, they just haven't got as good as they want them to be.
Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
The warmer weather sparked a grass fire near Port Lincoln this morning. Just before midday, a property owner alerted emergency crews to the small blaze on Tatler Road in Boston. It took the CFS half an hour to contain the fire that reached nearby scrubland. It's understood the blaze started from a burn pile that spread to nearby grass. However, it's a worrying sign with temperatures set to soar and the fire danger season beginning across the region from tomorrow. A man behind a racist attack on a Port Augusta Council candidate has apologised for his actions. Truck driver Grant Moroney posted a video on social media of himself using a corflute of Sunny Singh.
Please try to make him feel welcome. He hadn't been in the country long and he doesn't say much. I don't think he can speak a word English.
The subsequent outrage cost Mr Moroney his contract with Mogas. Mr Singh told the advertiser he received a text from Mr Moroney apologising for the content of the video and says he won't press charges. Police are still investigating Mr Moroney for the use of a mobile phone while driving. Broken Hill Police are investigating a number of bones that were found at a property on Wolfram Street. Officers were called to the property after the owner discovered 3 bones underneath a concrete slab while doing renovation work. The owner has only been living at the property for a few months, but police say the house has been there for over 50 years. The bones have been collected for forensic testing.
So they've been sent down to a forensic lab in Newcastle where they'll do some analysis on them, determine whether they're human, animal or something else. At this stage we're just waiting to get those results back and hopefully we'll have them back shortly.
Once the test is complete, police will decide on how to proceed. The demand for foster carers in Port Lincoln is higher than ever, with 21 children unable to find a home locally. Children Protection Minister Rachel Sanderson made a visit to the town today to learn more about the situation.
A worrying state for local children seeking a safe home to live in.
We just heard today there's something like 21 children that weren't able to be placed that were from Port Lincoln that then would have to go outside of the community.
Meaning there's an urgent call out for local carers.
In Port Lincoln, we're looking for more foster carers. So if there's anyone watching that is interested in being a foster carer, we have children that need loving families.
Following the Royal Commission that revealed the horrific state of child protection in SA, the Liberal government implemented new legislation last week, allowing the Minister for Child Protection to visit regional communities. With a visit to Ceduna yesterday and in Port Lincoln today, she's spoken with the vital services working hard to improve the situation.
We've met with Centrecare and we've met with AFS, both in Ceduna and Port Lincoln, and they're doing some wonderful work working with the foster and the kinship carers.
Really very pleased to have Minister Rachel Sanderson visit the Eyre Peninsula, and she has a genuine interest in the portfolio that she heads up, the department she heads up, and also in the people who work in the sector.
While children in the foster system stem from a range of issues.
The main three causes are mental health, drug and alcohol and domestic violence.
The Minister says the government is working hard in prevention and intervention.
The ultimate goal is that children can stay with their families wherever possible.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
The Whyalla Steelworks owner wants the federal government to make access to funds for renewable projects easier. Sanjeev Gupta has told the ABC he wants a fast-tracked package that'll fund rooftop solar for businesses. Mr Gupta has invested his own money into a major solar plant just outside of Whyalla, which will create 350 construction jobs. He says the Clean Finance Corporation could give businesses better access to funding. The proposal has been welcomed by Labor's Eddie Hughes.
Companies do have an appetite to move in this direction. The resistance has come at a national level.
Work on the Coltana solar project is expected to begin early next year. With rising power bills making life difficult for many Australians, Port Pirie's Regional Council is offering a cheaper alternative through its community solar project. A local retired couple are the town's first to be hooked up to the community power network.
The sun is always shining in Port Pirie. Local resident Gordon Williams is finding out how that can offset his family power bills. The Esmond Road household is the lucky first to be hooked up through Port Pirie's community solar scheme.
Everyone knows that power prices have been going through the roof. There's a lot of families and businesses struggling with that impost of power, and this can really benefit those families greatly.
In 2017, residents were shocked to find out that South Australia had the highest power bills in the world. For Gordon and his wife, living on a pension can be quite the challenge. The installation of solar panels on their roof by Cool or Cozy has completely changed their lives.
This last quarter's bill is dropped by half. You know, that's money back in our pocket.
The Williams were also pleased at the efficiency of installing the panels.
All organised with Cool or Cozy. It was so quick. It was, ask the questions today, done tomorrow.
The project is all about giving the city of Port Pirie a greener and cheaper future. For more information, visit www.communitypowernetwork.com.au. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, a Port Lincoln teenager's passion for farming rewarded in a national grain growing competition. And Whyalla's Samaritan College puts a local twist on a classic fairy tale. Welcome back. Do you have the skills to build a jetty? If so, Whyalla Council wants to hear from you. Applications are open until November 14 for work on the multi-million-dollar project. Council has already met with 20 local businesses. The Whyalla project, which is supported by the state government and GFG Alliance, is expected to be finished by next summer. Broken Hill's monthly council meeting has just started with an unfinished mural in the city CBD set to dominate discussions. The artwork alongside a local GP clinic was stopped after it was discovered no development application was lodged with council. Some councillors believe the mural should still go ahead. Councillors will also discuss the Darling River's water levels and its connection to tourism and also liquor licensing in Sturt Park.
So although there's a few issues that seem like it'll be a quick meeting, it'll be an interesting debate, I suggest.
The meeting is underway at the Broken Hill Council chambers. The mid-north town of Brinkworth has taken home the prestigious Brand South Australia Community Award. The regional showcase was all about reflecting on the significant contribution made to regional areas by groups and individuals.
I think it's very important because it's raised the profile not only of the Progress Association and what we do, but the town as a whole, and put it in a very positive light, I think. And I'd like to thank all the volunteers in the town, which is there are several groups.
Brinkworth Progress Association and other community branches were commended for their tireless work in boosting local morale and helping the town get back on track. It's hoped that this newfound recognition from Brand South Australia will help boost the town's status as a stop-by tourist destination. A Port Lincoln teenager's passion for farming has been rewarded in a national grain growing competition, highlighting her particular interest in the controversial moratorium on GM crops in South Australia.
The future is bright for young agricultural advocate Zoe Proud. With a keen interest in cropping practices, she's earned herself the Australian Grain Growers Association Spirit of the Grains competition. In her 400-word essay, she explored how farmers have moved away from tilling and looked into the future possibilities with genetically modified crops.
We also use a lot of herbicides and pesticides and chemicals. And I talked about how genetically modified crops could hopefully help to fix the problem.
The 14-year-old suggesting the government should reconsider the ban on GM production.
I think if done properly, we should definitely allow genetically modified crops, especially with droughts and all the chemicals that we are using is damaging the environment.
Zoe's interest in science flourished when she became a student STEM ambassador at the Port Lincoln High School.
I suppose when she went away with that STEM camp, that was a real sort of eye-opener for her.
While she hopes to study science at university, for now her heart lies on the family farm.
I'm 6th generation on this farm and I've spent my whole life here, so I always help out with shearing and all different jobs around the farm.
She's so handy, and also the other younger daughter gives us a hand as well. So, yeah, I'm quite happy for her to come back onto the farm.
We will support her 100% whether she wants to be on the farm or not be on the farm.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Teachers and students from Whyala's Samaritan College are in final preparations for their up-and-coming musical production. They're performing a pantomime version of Cinderella, which puts a local twist on the classic fairy tale.
After 7 months of rehearsals, the stage is set for Samaritan College's take on Cinderella.
We know the prince. He's mad to go out with us. He'd have to be.
When that adrenaline kicks in and they get into the theatre and they've got their costumes on, their makeup, and there's actually an audience, they're going to be amazing.
The stage show, which runs from tomorrow until Saturday, is a pantomime of the much-loved fairy tale. Ms Fitzgerald says the script is a mixture of the original story and modern references.
There's lots of Whyala jokes and innuendos and lots of funny twists.
Megan Simpson and Clinton Schmitz take on the star roles of Cinderella and the Prince. The two can't wait to get on the stage.
She's very shy. Well, not shy. She's very confident, but she doesn't like to be confident around her sisters because they're very mean to her.
He doesn't want to really be a prince. He just wants to be some ordinary person and just wants to find someone to love.
Ms Fitzgerald has praised students for their dedication, saying showgoers are in for a treat.
To where they are now, to how they've developed, to the skills that they've developed, the confidence that they have developed in themselves is pretty amazing.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the region's fuel prices, and in the weather, it's going to be an absolute scorcher for the first day of November. I'll have all the local weather details soon. Hello again, time now for Fuel Watch. Here's Pat.
Well, today is Halloween, and when you look at the region's fuel prices, you're certainly in for a fright. Prices have gone back up to end the month, with everyone seeing red. Port Lincoln, Port Augusta and Kadina have all jumped by 6 cents. Kadina is now at $1.59, Lincoln $1.64, and Port Augusta is the most expensive in the Gulf at $1.66. Whyalla has seen a spike of about 2 cents, while Port Pirie has gone up by 5, but is still relatively cheap at $1.57. Here in Bricken Hill, we're back up into the 160s as well, after dropping to $1.58 last week. A big change has also occurred in Adelaide. The cycle has started once again in the city. Prices are averaging $1.64. Turning over to diesel now, and it's more of the same bad news. Port Lincoln and Port Pirie have both spiked by 8 cents, while Port Augusta has gone up by 6 and Whyalla is up by 2 cents. Kadina also joins Port Pirie on 1.62. In the Silver City, it's not looking pretty. That was a good rhyme. Motorists here are paying around 1.68. Adelaide has also seen a jump in its price, going from 1.54 to 1.59 a litre. Now remember, these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. If you happen to find a spot that does sell unleaded or diesel for cheaper, let us know on our Facebook page.
Thanks, Pat, and time now to take a look at how hot it's going to get in the weather. And it was an absolute scorcher in some centres today. Port Augusta reached a top of 38 degrees. Port Pirie, 37 was the top there. On the satellite, cloud over far northern SA with a trough is generating a few storms with hardly any rain, and skies are mostly clear to the east under high pressure. If you're escaping the heat on the waters tomorrow, we'll see northerly winds up to 20 knots, seas at a metre, and sunrise will be at 20 past 6. And we're certainly in for an early blast of summer to kick off November as a pool of hot air from northern Australia sweeps across the southeast of the country. We'll see some unstable conditions come across with some showers and thunderstorms possible for areas. Sweltering conditions forecast for all centres though, with temperatures nudging 40 degrees. Port Augusta 39 the top, Whyalla and Port Pirie 38 degrees tomorrow. The good news is a cool change is going to cool things off for Friday and Saturday, with temps dropping down into the 20s. Still warm though, fine conditions forecast as well. And all centres could see the odd light shower on Sunday too. Woodna 30 the max there. Again, after a scorcher tomorrow, temps will cool off. Kadina down to 26 degrees on Friday, while Whyalla and Port Augusta will see much cooler temps for the weekend. All centres could also see a sprinkle or two on Sunday. Port Augusta warming up to 31 degrees. And lastly, cooling down here too. Port Pirie 31 on Friday, still warm though, and a lovely fine 25 on Saturday. Temps in the 20-degree mark for Clare this weekend. Broken Hill staying warm as well. So make sure you keep cool tomorrow because it's definitely going to be a hot one. And that's all the local news this Wednesday. I'm Abby Donaldson. Thanks for your company. Good night.